Ya, Mbak. 1, 2, 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to visiting lecture today. For everyone, to those who has entered the room, we are about to begin. So please have a seat and make yourself comfortable. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Honorable Dr. Adnan Bashir as a postdoctoral researcher from Karachi Institute of Economy and Technology from Pakistan. And a very warm welcome to the all participant and student from STEKOM University. Is it indeed a pleasure to have all of you on this memorable occasion today? And I would like to thank God for gathering us here in a visiting lecture program regarding introduction to marketing, the marketing and its evolution. Before we begin, please allow me to read our agenda this afternoon. First, there will be start class presentation by Dr. Adnan Bashir. And finally, there will be a question and answer session after the presentation and continue with a brief photo session at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we will start for this event today, delivered by Dr. Adnan Bashir. Yeah, for Dr. Adnan, the time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Novita. So let me share my slides.
Yes.
Keluar orang ke poki pantal lubang saja ni.
Is it visible to you?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yes. Now, please, can you tell me so whether the slides are visible to you or not?
No. We can see your PPT.
So you can see?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. Maybe you can share to us. Maybe we can help with the share from our side.
Just a minute. Let me share them. Yes. Is it visible now?
Yes, visible.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first of all, I'll appreciate your effort. I'm thankful to the all the management and the organizing committee of this entire event that will manage this program. And I'm especially thankful to the Dr. Ummi that actually approached me for this particular event and who provided me the opportunity to interact with you. Today I'll talk about the introduction to marketing, a little bit about the history and evolution of the marketing, some of the core concepts related to marketing. Before starting the topic, I'll give my brief introduction. My name is Dr. Adnan Bashir. I'm working as Associate Professor at Institute of Business Management located at Karachi, Pakistan. I'm also a postdoc fellow at UniMAP. Okay, so let me start. Okay, Novita, can you tell me who is the audience of this event?
Pardon?
The audience, who is listening, whether they are the students or the audience of this program.
Audience from our department from STEKOM University.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So the introduction to marketing. So let me start with the history of marketing. So So selling is the oldest thing that have happened in the human history, that is sales people and so on. That is the exchange of goods is taking place since the inception of human life, right? According to Philip Kotler is actually we might consider the Philip Kotler as the guru of marketing. So according to Philip Kotler, the Aristotle is the father of marketing. So why the Philip Kotler consider the Aristotle is the father of marketing? So because according to Kotler, the Aristotle was the Google of his age. He wrote in multiple disciplines, right? He wrote in economics, he wrote in science, he wrote in drama, and he wrote in rhetoric. Rhetoric is basically about the persuasion. Rhetoric is basically that how your character can be the influencing factor for someone, means how your personality can be become the influencing factor, how you can influence the other through your personality. That's about basically the rhetoric, right? So means the Aristotle at that time was mesmerizing the people through his personality, through his knowledge. So that's why the Philip Kotler considered the Aristotle as the father of marketing. So I'll suggest that if you have interest in marketing, so you can read the Aristotle. So if you want to command on marketing, so you can also read the Aristotle. He was the Google of age. Now the question, so when did the marketing started? So, right? Market and trade have a long history, right? So, right, and so we might consider the Adam as the first human, as the first customer, right? So he was the first customer, being as the first human. But the marketing, as a term, marketing did not exist in the literature before 1900, right? We will see the marketing. If you'll explore the literature of marketing, you'll see this term as marketing in the early books, that is 1900 to 1910. What happened that in the some of the economists at that time, so they decided, actually they were unhappy with the traditional or the classical economic theory. And the classical economic theory at that time, they only discussed only two things. The first thing was the demand, and the another thing was the supply. And that thing, and these two things lead to another thing, that is price. Means the demand can be changed with the price, right? And if you see the economic literature, right, you'll not see anything about the sales force, and we see, or we believe, that the sales force has the capacity to change the demand, right? Similarly, the public relation. So we see and we can observe that the public relation have the capacity to change the demand. Similarly, advertising. There was nothing available on the advertising literature in the economics before the 1900, and it is observed that the advertising has the capacity to change the demand, right? So the economists that were not happy at that time with the classical economics, so they decided to add further on the economic literature, and they start to discuss on these aspects. And the first book on the literature, or the first book on the marketing, so they came into the existence. And the Philip Kotler actually called those economists as the institutional economists, that who started writing on these topics other than the price, supply, and demand as the institutional economics. And they were the people who at that time, that is 1900 and 1910, who contributed in the development of the marketing literature. Now, I'll show you a list of the people who actually contributed into the development of the marketing literature. So I'll show and I'll discuss about their contribution. So first is the first in the list is the Ernest Ditcher. As Ernest Ditcher was the first that actually go into the motives, who discuss the motives for buying anything. And he was an expert at the motivational psychology. And Ditcher claims that he studies under the Freud, and Ditcher made actually a wonderful practice in the New York area, and actually he helps different companies that could not sell its products and explaining them what they could do to actually get some attention, interest, desire, and action. Ditcher actually come up all the time with most interesting explanations that why they resist the product and so on, and get a nice fee from the company. Right? And Philip Kotler sometime I'm sorry, my camera turned off. Philip Kotler actually called the Ernest Ditcher as the head shrinker, because he has the capacity, he has that capacity to read the consumer mind so deeply that he called him as the head shrinker. Second in the list is the Alfred Pollitz. Alfred Pollitz is the second member. Alfred Pollitz is actually who is not a head shrinker, but we might call him as a nose counter. Nose counter. He count nose because his brand of research is survey research. So he was expert in the survey research. Alfred Pollitz was one of the leaders in trying to measure people demographically. So how many men, women, educational level, and so on. So his contribution was on the survey research, basically. So another is the Julius Rosenwald. Julius Rosenwald actually who built famous company called Sears, right? And one of the most successful chain stores and departmental stores in the world. Next is the Lester Wonderman. Lester Wonderman, he did so much for the direct marketing. And what's direct marketing? Direct marketing is basically some sort of mails you receive offering you something, the catalog we receive, and Lester is brilliant at that end. So he's basically he bring the revolution, or he creates so much literature in the direct marketing. Another is the David Ogilvy. David Ogilvy wrote the different books of his own talk, and his famous book was on the confessions of a marketeer, confessions of an advertiser. Next is the Stanley Marcus. Stanley Marcus he's basically, he was a retail executive. So he has the capacity that he could go into any retailer and immediately tell them so what they can do to increase its sales. So whether they can do with the ISIL assortment, whether they can do with the merchandising or some other issues. So another is the Ernest Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays actually he was the expert in PR, public relations. So he worked so much on the public relations, Next is the Dale Carney. Dale Carney is basically very famous. Again, he wrote so much on the persuasion, so how to win friends and influence. So these were some of the people who contribute to marketing in different aspects. So either in the practical side or either in the theoretical aspects. So why organizations need the marketing department? So what led the company to start with the marketing department? So unless they have the sales force, so what's the need to start with the marketing department? Actually, there were three reasons with the companies to start with the marketing department. Number one, the first one was the consumer research. The sales people actually, so they don't want to spend their time on the consumer research. The first point was the consumer research. The salesman has the more interest or more inclination to spend their time with the numbers, but not with the perception or not with the consumer aspects. So they are more happy, they are more tilted towards the numerics or with the sales data. Another reason is another reason or another motive for the organization to start with the marketing department. Sales people need to know that to whom they should approach to get the sales. It means prospecting. They need the proper prospecting. The sales people are not good in prospecting, so they can sell the product maybe better than the marketing department, but they are not good in finding which people are best to serve or to offer their product. So this was the second point that that pinch the organization to come up with the marketing department. Another thing is basically the sales people or the sales department, they don't want to make the brochures. So again, the organization needs the people to make the brochures. They need the people to make the strategy. So again, these 3 points basically provide the basis for the organization to create the independent marketing department. Number one, the consumer research. The sales people don't want to conduct the consumer research. Number two, the proper prospecting. The sales people are not good in finding the proper prospects. And number three, the brochures. They don't want to make the brochures and the strategy formulations. Now, so it was about the little bit about the strategy, history and evolution. Now the importance of marketing. So why we consider the marketing as the most important department in the organization. Like our brain, our body, the brain is the most prominent department. Similarly, if we see an organization, marketing is the most important department in the organization. So what makes the marketing as the most important department? So I believe the interaction with the consumer or customers make the marketing as the most important and prominent function within the organization, because they have to deal with the customers. Now, we can see the customers as the internal perspective and from the external perspective. External perspective, again, definitely the consumer itself. And from the internal perspective, the sales people are basically the customers of the marketing department. So if they are not happy with the marketing people, then definitely they are not capable to fully strategize the activities or execute the activities developed by the marketing people. So the marketing people have the responsibility to satisfy both the customers, that is the internal customers, that is the sales people, and the external customers, that is the actual customer who will buy the product and who will consume the product. twofold goals of marketing. So marketing has the twofold goals. Number one is to attract new customers. So how the company can attract the new customers? So company can attract the new customers by making superior value, by promising superior value, that we will give you that superior value better than the customers, better than the competitors, right? So we are promising that we will give you satisfaction, we will give you that superior value, we are better than competitors, right? So our offer is better than competitors. So by that way, the companies will attract the new customers. And second goal is to keep and grow the customer base. So how the company can grow and keep the current customers by delivering the satisfaction. So if an organization is weak in any of the front, so they cannot grow and they cannot sustain. So if company is good at attracting new customers and they are weak on keeping them, then definitely they cannot sustain, they cannot grow. If the company is good at keeping and growing the current customers and they are not good at attracting the new customers, then till how much time they can survive in this competition, strong competition. So a time will come, they will die. So these are the two very important goals of marketing. Now, now it's a time to define the marketing. This definition of marketing has so much depth. So I'll spend most of the time in defining the marketing. So we can define the marketing with 3 possible words, with 4 words, and with a lot of, I'll give a detailed explanation of the marketing. I'll start with 3-word definition of the marketing. So it's about creating customer needs. So this is just one definition of the creating customer needs, right? So marketing is all about, and it's a process where the organizations, where the marketeers, so they create the customer needs. Another aspect, that's the 4-word definitions that I call, is the managing profitable customer relationship. Means marketing is about the management. Management of what? Management of profitability, management of customer, management of relationships. You see, so here you can see the scope of marketing and the scope of marketing definition has been broadened. So it's about the management of profitability, management of customer, management of relationship. Another definition which I took from the Kotler, so he says that is the process by which company create value for customers and build strong customer relationship in order to capture value from customers in return. Meaning it's the process where the company creates something for customers and they spend time on the relationship and they get value in return. Now, what is the value for customers? That value could be in terms of tangible product, that value could be image, that value could be quality. Then what is the value in return for the customer, from the customer point of view for the organization? That can be loyalty, that can be profitability, that can be goodwill. So there are different different explanations for the value for the consumer perspective and from the organization perspective. So this is another perspective of the definition, these 3 possible definitions. But another very good explanation provided by the Kotler is basically the mantra or the nucleus or the central point of marketing is CCDVTP. Now, what is CCDVTP? It's basically marketer job is to create, communicate, deliver a value to a target market at a profit. So C, create, another C, communicate, D, deliver, V, value, T, target market, P, profit. CCDVTP. So this is a very good classical explanation of marketing, CCDVTP. Now, this definition has a detailed elaboration, a complete explanation of marketing. So the complete marketing, you can fit the complete marketing, the overall concepts of marketing into this CCDVTP. So I'll spend some time to explain this CCDVTP, and hopefully you will be able to understand the marketing with this CCDVTP concept. Now, the first create part. Creating value is called the product management. Communicating value is called the brand management. Delivering value is called the customer management, right? So as a marketer, basically you are in three businesses. So product management, brand management, and customer management. So I'll discuss one by one. So let's start with the creating value, that's product management. So creating value or product management, it includes several key decisions, right? So what is product management? So being as a marketer, so you have to see the product first, because it's about the creation part. So first, unless you'll create the product, then you will make it brand, and then you will communicate to the product. So first is the internal part. So what product it should be, and there are certain internal decisions that are related to the product. So what are those decisions? So I'll discuss those decisions. So there are basically three internal decisions that are related to the product. Number one, individual product decisions, product line decisions, and product mix decisions. So being as a marketer, so you first think about the product. Number one, individual product decision. So means the decisions related to a single product. So product and service attributes. So what product and service attribute? For example, product quality. So what quality levels you will attach to an individual product? Product features. So how many features you will be associated to the product? Product style and design. So what could be the style? What about the design, right? Branding. So what should be the name of the product, right? Packaging. So what about the packaging? So how you will pack the product? So how you will label it, right? So how you will place it? Labeling. So how you will label it? Product support. So how you will provide the support? So what support system will be available for your product? So this is the individual product decision. It means the decisions for the individual product, one product, right? That's about product management. The second, the product line decision. So first of all, what is product line basically? Product line is basically the group of similar products that you may offer to the same consumer group, that may fall in the given price range, that you may sell from the given outlet, that you may communicate from same sort of channel. That's basically the you may call it as a product line. Now the product line decisions, you being as a marketer, so you have the multiple products, you have the product line, so you think about the product line as well. So there are basically two product line decisions. Number one is the product line length. So how many products you will add in your product line. So product line filling and line stretching. So you can add the different products to the same line by either by filling or either by stretching. Filling means adding more items within the present range of line. For example, if you have shampoos, then you add another shampoo with certain modification, like it's line filling. Line stretching is a major decision. It's a major decision. If you are working on upper class or upper end of the market, and you decide to stretch to the lower end of the market with the same product type, and you decide to enter in some lower segment, that's the line stretch. And if you are working on some lower segment of the market and with the same product category, you think that you will enter in some upper segment, that's basically the line stretching with the same product. So you will stretch your product to the level that you will catch the upper segment of the market. That's basically the line stretching. Right? So upward line stretching may be upward, line stretching may be the downward, right? So that's basically the product line decision, right? So another decision, basically, that's the product mix decision. So being as a marketer, so you must think and you must take care of all the products you have. That's basically the product mix. The product mix is the total of the products the company has. So you must think about the product. So whether your new product that you are introducing into your organization, whether it will support the existing product or whether it will cannibalize. So you see with the perspective of cannibalization, you will see with the perspective of substitution, with the support, right? So the product mix decision. So there are basically 4 product mix decisions: width, product mix width, product mix length, product mix depth, and product mix consistency. Which means the total number of product lines the company carries. How many product lines you have? Product mix length, that how many products you have in all the product lines. That's product mix length. Product mix depth means the variants, all the variants. How many variants you have in total. And product mix consistency means how much consistency you have in terms of production capacity, in terms of communication channel, in terms of distribution. Right. So these are some sort of the product decisions. That's about the product management. So being as a marketeer, so you must take care of these decisions: individual product decisions, product line decisions, and product mix decisions, and that's called as a product management. Now, the second aspect of this definition is basically the communicating value. That's called the brand management, right? So brand management is about the execution, is about excitement, it's about the differentiation. So how you will make your product different from the competitors. So you'll name your brand, you will label your brand, you will assign taglines. So you may assign different character. So you will maybe assign different feelings to the brand. So you will develop a personality of your brand. That's about the communicating. You will make promises with your brand. That's all about the communicating value, brand management. So what you all about? Brand is a promise. Brand inspires everything you do, because the consumer don't know about the product. The consumer know about the brand. The consumer loves the brand. The consumer don't love the product. Consumer love the brand. So we want mind share, heart share, and split share. Mind share means recall, product recall, right? So heart share means CSR, split share. So I'll explain the split share a little bit after some time. The brand management. So what's brand? So I'll spend some time on the brand. So brand, so you can say it's a brand is an experience. So from the very first time you hear about it and the moment you see it and you use it. So the overall experience with the product, that will, the developed experience that will transform your product into a brand. American Marketing Association defined the brands, the name, terms, sign, symbols, or the combination of them intended to identify goods or services and to differentiate. So basically, there are 2 aims for branding. Number 1 is to give the identification, and second is to provide the differentiation. Right. So with the branding, company can give the identification and they provide the differentiation, right? This might be this differentiation might be functional, rational, or tangible, related to brand performance. The brand providing the solution to the consumer in some sort of real form that can be measured, and it can be the differentiation based on some sort of symbolic, emotional, or intangible. Let's suppose the iPhone. So iPhone differentiation is based on symbolic or emotional. It means based on image. It's more imagery than the functional or rational. So brand is represented by various tangible elements. So how a marketer or how a brand manager can transform a product into a brand. So these are the list of the elements: brand name through symbol, logo, color, themes, taglines, theme lines, catch lines, brand personality, characters, music. So these are some of the examples by which the marketeers, they transform their product into into strong brands. So I'll give just one example of each, the brand name. So these are some sort of examples of Pampers, Gillette, Disney, Amazon, FedEx, Microsoft, Facebook, Marlboro. These are with the name perspective. These are the names reflecting the product or service category. The symbols. These are the symbols. So you see, if you closely observe that each product name is written with a different color, with a different font size, with a different font style. So it means it's a symbolic representation of your brand name. That is symbols. That how you are presenting your brand name, with what color, with what style, with what size. Symbolic representation, right? And the logos. The difference between symbols and logos are, the symbols are wordic basically, and logos are non-wordic. So if you see the M of McDonald's, M of Motorola, and the three flowers of Adidas, and this Toyota logo, and this check of Nike, right? And this panda of WWF, sorry, yes, WWF, right? These are the logos basically. So logo is non-wordic basically, and symbols are wordic, right? So symbols are the wordic explanation, right? So again, it's the responsibility of the market. It's about the brand management. Theme lines, taglines, think different, just do it, I'm loving it, open happiness, right? These are some of the examples of the taglines, catch lines. Colors different. The marketeers use different colors, and each color has its own philosophy, its own explanation. So they can choose the colors to explain its branding, its emotions, its feelings, its connection. Right. For example, yellow is about optimism, clarity, warmth. Red is about the excitement, youthful, bold. Right. So that's why Coca-Cola is here. It's about youth. It's about excitement. Right. So, and friendly, cheerful, confident. So that's why you'll find the Fanta over here. Right. So again, the color, the detailed elaboration of the colors. Right. The brand personality. So it's very important for the marketeers to understand its brand as a person. So the consumer observe or consider the brand as a person. So if the brand comes in front of them as a human, so what kind of personality the brand is having at that point of time? Like let's suppose, for example, Lux. So what is the dressing of Lux at that time? What about their hairs, whether it will be female or it's a male? That's about the personality. So it's very important for the marketeers to think about the personality attributes of the brand. So if the brand, they think about target for the females, but they are looking or they are not focusing on the personality attributes with the perspective of the female characters, then definitely they'll not be able to market the brand with female perspective. Personality and color, they have some sort of combination, matching, so they must see this perspective. Again, detailed elaboration of personality. Characters, some characters might be used to make your brand as strong. Safeguard, character is a man-made character basically. McDonald's clown, Duracell bunny, Prince Biscuit, Ding Dong. It's a very famous bubble gum at Pakistan. Ding Dong, it's a cat. Log, so that's character basically. Recognition, it provides the recognition. Music, so sometimes music becomes the recognition or identification of your brand. Coke Studio, Battle of the Band, Pepsi. Nokia, connecting people. The specific, the classical tune of Nokia. So when we listen in that tune, so we recognize, oh, it's Nokia. Nescafe Basement, walls. So I don't know what about Indonesia, but in Pakistan, so we had that some sort of this cycle. So they sell the ice creams in the streets, and they have a music, built-in music. And when we listen this music, so we recognize, oh, it's walls. And there are certain other brands that use their own dedicated music, and with the music we recognize or we identify particular brands, right? So it's all about the brand management. The second C, CC, creating and communicating. That's about the product management. Now the third is the D, delivering value. Delivering value is about the customer management, right? Customer management means to meet the customer beyond the database. It's about the customer management. That means we want customers to co-create our brand, so co-creating with customers. So this co-creation may be for the product development, maybe for the communication development, maybe for any other aspect, so that can bring improvement in any of the aspect related to product, related to brand, right? Open innovation. So A.G. Lafley basically introduced this concept at Procter & Gamble, and they called it as open innovation. So the consumer might be asked to come up with innovative ideas to bring the improvement in the overall system. That's the open innovations. The consumer might be involved in the system, open innovation. Another perspective to see the customer management is about the key account management, that the trend has been changed. Now before in the early 20th century, countries like Pakistan and I don't know about the Malaysia or Indonesia, but we have small retailers, and the majority of the transactions with the organization took place with that small retailers. But now in 2021 and 2020 and 2022, we have the mega retailers that they have occupied in large cities more than 50% of the groceries. Which means the organizations now they have to work with these mega retailers than the small retailers. Means so they have to think with this perspective, that is key account management. They have to see them as the key account manager. Like Procter & Gamble, so they have their key account managers for the Walmart, and that managers sit in the area of the Walmart, not at the offices of the Procter & Gamble. Similarly, merchandising. So as the majority of the transactions, consumer transactions are taking place in the mega retailers, where the consumer has the options to physically see the product, so they can see the year competitor product at the same place. Now, it's very important for the organization to look at the merchandising aspects. So what product must be available, which product must be available, how you will place your product, in what quantity, at what place, in what quantity. That's about the merchandising, because the physical presence and the interaction, the physical interaction of your product and the customer is very important. That's about the merchandising. Now the organization have to learn the dynamics of the merchandising. That's all about the customer management, right? So this is about the CCDVTP basically. So this is about the CCDVTP. Right. CCDVTP is create, communicate, deliver a value to a target market at a profit. Right. So this is very classical explanation of Philip Kotler that explain the marketing in a very good manner. Now, some concepts related to marketing: the needs, wants, and demands. What are needs? Generally, here students they made mistakes while defining the needs. The needs are basically the state of deficiency. Any state for which the consumer think that they feel themselves as deficient. So we can say that basically needs that might be physical needs, food, clothing, warmth. So it might be social needs, belonging, affection. It might be individual needs, knowledge, self-expression. Means we might feel some sort of deficient, then it will become our need. Then what options we have to fulfill that state of deficiency, that will become basically the wants. Wants are basically the options we have to fulfill that state of deficiency. That's basically the want. If I'm hungry, that's basically the state of deficiency. That how I can fulfill that state of deficiencies. What options are there? That options are basically derived by my individual personality and culture. So being as Muslim, so I cannot eat something haram, right? So that's the culture. That's a part of culture, right? And individual personality. Now the second is the culture. So if I'm on diet, then definitely I'll not go for something that is rich in calories. So the personality plus culture. So that option will derived by two forces, that is personality and culture. Another thing is basically the demand. The demands basically are backed by the buying power. So if you have the buying power, that option, then you can demand. If you don't have the demand, if you don't have the buying power, sorry, then you cannot demand. So these are the three basically: the need, state of deficiency, wants, what options are there, what options you have to fulfill that state of deficiency, and demands, that's the buying power. Sometimes students become confused with the needs and wants. So for example, so once I asked, so define the beauty, so whether it's a need or want. So they generally, it might be subjective, but I believe beauty is a need, because it's a state of deficiency. So everyone is willing to become beautiful. It's inner state, inner desire that we want to become beautiful. Now, the wants, what options do we have to look beautiful? So for males, so what we do? So we choose a brand, we become beard, we might be clean shape, we choose our hairstyle, so we opt a specific hairstyle. So we might be use French beard, right? So these are the different options. So why we are choosing different options? Just to appeal the others that we are beautiful. So in that case, the inner desire, the state of deficiency, the beauty is basically the need. And how we are expressing ourselves, that what options we are opting to express ourselves as beautiful, that's basically the want. And demand is backed by the manpower. Evolution of marketing, yes, the time-wise, how the marketing is evolved with the passage of time. So 1900 and 1904, at that time, the production concept was working, means the consumer favored those products which are cost effective. So in order to get the cost effective products, mass production is required. So once you will produce more, so your fixed cost will be divided on more number of units. So you'll get the cost advantage. So your price will lower down and consumer will get the cost advantage. So at that time, the Ford Motors was following that philosophy, 1994. Then 1930 around, then the product concept they came, and the basic theme, the basic philosophy, basic idea was the continuous product improvement. The consumer favor or consumer love the products that are having good quality and performance, right? Again, and then the selling concept, the 1930, then we moved to 1940. Then the selling concept was there, means we have to put the large scale selling and promotion efforts. Then the consumer will convince and they actually will buy the product. Then 1950 and onwards, then the marketing concepts, means need, want, target marketing concept was there, and means the deliver and desired satisfaction. Identify the consumer, identify the need, and then make the product as per the need and demand and give the specific satisfaction. And then lastly, 1970s, 1980s to onwards, now the societal concept, means the consumer wants and the consumer long-run interest and the societal long-run interest, right? So with the time perspective, that is how the marketing is evolved, the time perspective. With the strategic perspective, the marketing is evolved into the 5 stages, I believe. Number 1 was the sales, the promotion stage. We can say the promotion stage, that the sales, initially everything was sales. The advertising was there, just the sales force organization was putting much of their budget on the sales force, on the newspaper advertisements. That was the time of promotion age. So we can see this as the era of 1930, before 1930. Then the concept of was evolved as the marketing stage, that the 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion. That's called the mass marketing stage, right? And then the micro marketing stage was there, means the segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So the marketeers get the understanding of the segmentation, targeting, positioning, and they started the micro marketing. And then the relationship marketing, the concept of loyalty was there, the relationship marketing, they started to work on the loyalty. And now it's about the co-marketing. That's the AG Lafley, that's the co-invention. And the co-marketing, inviting customers to create either product, promotion, or any idea. So that's basically the strategic aspect of evolution of marketing. And the last slide was again the evolution of marketing, but based on the timelines. Now, what is marketing? What can be marketed from the marketing perspective? Again, the list is very long. Goods, the physical goods can be marketing: cars, cosmetics, watch, anything that can be tangible can be marketed. Services, intangible offering are there. Events, trade shows, artistic performance, Olympics, World Cup, these are different events. It's very common. Experiences, amusement parks, theme-based restaurants, like in Pakistan, around 65% of the population, they live in villages. So in large cities, we have different restaurants. So, and they based on the theme of the villages. So what they are providing, they are not providing the food. Actually, they are providing the experience of that village life. And similarly, here we have a restaurant in Karachi that is based on the theme of the Mughal era, so our history, basically, in 1500 and 1600 century. So the name of the restaurant is Lal Killa, basically. So their waiters, their kitchen staff, so all they wear the traditional clothing, and they have sword in their hands, right? So what they are providing, they are actually providing the food, but they are providing the food with the traditional or typical experience. That's basically experience. So here they are selling the experience. The focus point is experience. Although the product is the primary focus, but here is actually what they are delivering is the experience, basically. In that term, basically, the experience is important here. Then is the persons. Yes, the person, the organizations are promoting the persons. It's very common. Personalities are promoting, actors are promoting during the football World Cup, Ronaldo, Messi, persons. Places, yes, cities, states, region, whole nations. So they are promoted by marketeers. Properties, yes, real estate, financial properties. So you can see with perspective of Indonesia, Malaysia, in Pakistan. So we have there are certain examples that basically offer the market the property as a product. Organization market themselves as them, to make them as a brand. Information, yes, different organizations are basically they collect the different sort of data. IMS is one of the examples. So what they did, they basically collect the information for the different pharmaceutical organizations. So they collect the data from the pharmacies, from the hospitals, that which brand has how many sales, which SKU has how many sales, and at the end of the year they compile that data and they sell that data to the different pharmaceutical companies. It is more towards basically B2B rather than B2C. Information can be sold. The ideas is more about the social advertising rather than the commercial. Ideas, HIV and AIDS, discouraging smoking, encouraging family planning. It's more, the cause is basically more social rather than the commercial. This question has very interesting answer. What is market? So when generally I ask from my students that define the term market, they generally say that it's a place where the goods and services are available. So where the exchange process took place, the consumer will buy the product, the seller will sell the product. So no, that's basically the place. That's not the market. So what actually the market? So there are two aspects to define the market. Number one is the monetary aspect, and second is the consumer aspect, right? Monetary aspect. So first of all, the consumer aspect. So how many people are there to buy your product? That is the first aspect to define the market. I think some
DVD itu sebentar dokter
moderator is requested to please mute all the mics so we can.
Pardon?
Yes, should I proceed?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So the first aspect, consumer aspect, so means how many people are there to buy your product. That's the first aspect, the consumer, the people aspect, the consumer aspect. The second aspect, that's the monetary aspect, that till at what value or till what value the product can be sold. For example, in Pakistan, how many people are there who consume the tea? Number one, that's the first aspect. How many people are there to buy or to consume the product, that are currently consuming the product or have the potential to consume the product? The first aspect. Second, we import the tea. So how much value or how much money we spend to get the tea? That's it. The monetary value of the tea market. That's another perspective of to define the market, monetary value. That up to how much that market has evolved or reached in terms of monetary perspective. That's the. So market. So marketeers use the term market to cover various grouping of customers, the set of actual and potential buyers of a product or service, right? And industry, similarly, sellers constitutes the industry, buyer, sellers constitute the industry, and buyer constitutes the market, right? Marketers talk about the need market, diet seeking market, product market, shoe market, physical terms, demographic market, youth market, geographic market. So we can define the market with respect to geography, Indian market, Malaysian market, Indonesian market, Pakistani market. In terms of demography, youth market, senior, women, male, right? Key customer groups. Consumer market, generally market can be segmented or classified into consumer market, business market, Global market. Global market, once the firm decided to enter into the global market, definitely they have certain challenges. So they need to think with certain perspective. So decide which country to enter and how to enter. Uh, just a minute. So there are certain people. Yeah, sorry. So before deciding to enter into the global market, the firm must see these factors. So which country to enter and how to enter, as an exporter, as a licensor, as a joint partner, as a contract manufacturer, as a solo manufacturer, how to adapt a product or service feature for the different countries. Definitely the different countries, they have their own needs and demands. How to price, definitely there are some certain legal requirements. There are different cost structure involved. There are different activities involved, so that will affect on the price structure. How to design communication for the different cultures. So cultural differences exist, being as Muslim and non-Muslim cities. Like although that the India and Pakistan, we share certain commonalities, but due to the differences in the culture, the same advertisement, certain advertisements cannot be run in Pakistan and in India, right? And the macro environmental factors, the government policies, environmental factors, technological factors, right? The firm have to see these factors. Non-profit and government market. Again, this is a very broader segment, so the firm can get the benefit if they want to serve the government market. So basically, the tender business. So if they are interested in these sort of markets, they have to see as key accounts. Marketplace, market space, and meta market. So marketplace is basically the physical places where the exchange of goods are taking place. That's marketplace, the small retail outlet, Walmart. These all are the marketplaces, the physical places. Market space, now majority of the buying and selling are basically taking place in online setting. Amazon, Alibaba, Daraz, and there are certain other online. That's the market space. Now, what's the meta market? Meta market is basically a concept nowadays. So it's basically an integrated concept. So when we think about a product, let's suppose a car. So if we are thinking to buy a car, so along with the car, different industries or different options come in our mind, right? So we, a car manufacturer, maybe we may get the car from the bank. So the banking industry in our mind. So we have to get the car insured. The insurance company is there in our mind. So the spare parts availability. So the spare parts here, the mechanics. So whether the we'll get the mechanics available, and there are certain others, right? So that concept is basically termed as the meta market, right? So meta marketplace, physical stores, market space, digital, such as internet. Meta market, the cluster of complementary products, right? That comes in our mind. That term is basically termed as the meta market. For example, automobile manufacturer, new and used car dealers, financing companies, insurance companies, mechanics, spare parts dealers, service shops, auto magazine, classified auto ads in newspapers, right? So means now it's difficult for the organizations, or it's necessary for the organizations basically to cover all these aspects if they want to get the success, because the consumer decision is basically based on on how many on the different factors, right? So they have to look at the list of the factors in order to get the secure business. Marketing channels, organization use different channels, 3 channels basically: the communication channels to communicate, distribution channels to distribute, and service channels to provide the service. It might be after sales service, or it might be the warehousing, transportation, insurance, right? So I'll not spend much time over here. So new marketing realities. Yes. So how the businesses, the current businesses are different from the previous maybe 10 to 15 years back. So number one is the network information technology. Now, this has given the freedom to the organization that they can produce more accurately, they can communicate more accurately, targeted communication, targeted production, right? Relevant information, they can give the relevant information to the relevant people, right? Means the mass marketing is losing its power, and the organizations are trying to provide the more accurate information to the accurate customer on the accurate time. That's the power, that's the beauty of the network information technology. So think about you're crossing KFC outlet, and at the same time you get the message that on this outlet the 50% or 25% is discount is available on this day, right? So that's the more targeted communication. That's the beauty. That's the this is possible, and in some of the organization is using this technology. Let's suppose. Deregulation. This is challenge for the organization. Almost all the countries have deregulated their economies. So India at some time was the regulated economy, that they have very strong legislation system. Now even they have deregulated, and almost all the economies are deregulated. Now, what is the disadvantage of deregulation? So it is very easy for the organization to enter into the market. It is very easy for the organization to exit for the market, right? So the competition is very high. Heightened competition, yes, the deregulation has led to the heightened competition. Foreign brands, domestic brand, everyone is there. There is a cutthroat competition. Industry convergence, yes, the technology has given the freedom to the organization that they are converging their businesses to the related and unrelated businesses. For example, Samsung, Apple, they are actually the technology organization, but they are into the consumer electronics. Retail transformation. So in developing countries, so this is again a challenge for the organization, that their businesses, their customers is transforming from the small retailers to mega retailers, that they are more demanding, they are demanding more discount, they are demanding more stock, and they basically deal in a very different manner than from the small retailers, right? So organizations have to relook their strategies, organization have to relook their profitability, organization have to relook their organizational structure. They have developed the key accounts, the accounts managers, because the transformation is there in the channel management, the retail transformation. Consumer information and buying power. The internet and the social media has given the freedom to the consumer that they can compare the product, they can compare the feature, they can compare the prices, and then they decide so which product to buy and which product and which to not buy. Sorry. And similarly, they can bypass the local offering, so they can get the product from anywhere, from any part of the world. So within days, within and they can, and the different payment options have give them freedom to pay online. So it is producing the challenges for the local players. Consumer participation. Now it has been created challenges for the companies to handle the image of the brand, because you cannot control the consumers with respect to the communication. Consumer can write positive, consumer can write negative, right? So the positive participation will create goodwill of your brand. The negative participation, the negative word of mouth can destroy your brand. So you must be very vigilant. So what the consumers are writing about your brand, about your company, and so you have to be present every time there on social media. The consumer participation, because consumer participation has become very difficult or very challenging for the organization to control the overall scenario within the marketing domain. Moment of truth. Moment of truth basically is the interaction, is basically the that interaction between the consumer and the product, is that right. There are basically, initially it was the first moment of truth when the consumer first time see the product, maybe at the retail outlet. First moment of truth. The second moment of truth, when the consumer actually use your product and they develop some sort of experience, that is the second moment of truth. Now, due to the social media, there is zero moment of truth. Means before the physical interaction, means before the first moment of truth, there is zero moment of truth. The consumer develop the need and this go online for the searching. They review, they read the review, they watch the videos, and they get the perception about the product before the physical interaction. They have the very good understanding. They have the perception, either positive, either negative. That's the zero moment of truth. Then they will go to the outlet. They will get the product. The second encounter to the product. In the third counter, second moment, he will consume the product. Second moment of truth. And the third moment of truth means he will become the regular user or the counselor of your product. Means he will say positive word of mouth. At the third moment of truth. So the organization, it's become difficult for the organization to get the control on the moment of truth. Right. Now the holistic marketing concept. The holistic marketing concept, the idea, basically the holistic marketing concept is that everything matter in marketing. The marketing people have to do a lot other than the marketing itself. It means the marketing is not the sole responsibility of the marketing people. They have to do a lot other than the marketing. So there are basically four components of holistic marketing. So I'll go a little bit quick. Then relationship marketing, internal marketing, performance marketing, and integrated marketing. So these are the four pillars of the holistic marketing. The relationship marketing. So first of all, relationship marketing. So marketing people have the responsibility to build the relationship with the key constituents. Now, what are the key constituents? So there are basically the four key constituents. Number one, customers. They need to build the relationship with the customers. Number two, employees, internal employees. Maybe the sales team, they are very internal, very important internal customers. But not only the sales people, there are other employees, like for example, finance department, the HR. They need to involve the HR, that what sort of trainings they require for the sales team, what sort of incentive plans they are needed for the sales people, right? So how many financing are they require, what sort of accounts, for example, what sort of billing options they require for their customers. That's so they are basically the employees. Marketing partners, channels, suppliers, distributors, dealers. So it's very important for the marketers to build the strong relationship between these channels, suppliers. So they need to be happy They need to make them happy. Supplier, suppliers, distributors, dealers, they all are basically the channels. And the members of financial community means the people who are giving you the money to invest into the business. Right? So the relationship, the marketing people have the responsibility to build the relationship with these 4 key players. Internal marketing means it's the responsibility of the marketing to hire the right people, to train them right, to motivate them right, to serve the right customer, right? So internal, that's called the internal marketing, means to motivating everyone within the organization to do right. That's the internal marketing. So internal motivation, internal marketing. Again, this is the responsibility of the marketing people to keep everyone motivated within the organization. Performance marketing. So marketing people have the responsibility, again, the financial responsibility. They have the responsibility to make sure that they meet the sales targets, they meet the profitability targets, right? And similarly, they have the responsibility to, they must be socially responsible, CSR. What sort of social responsibilities, corporate social responsibilities they will perform. So they come up with certain ideas, their CSR activities that come under the performance marketing. So they will be evaluated based on the numbers, sales numbers, profitability numbers, and the CSR. So what sort of activities they are designing for the betterment of the consumers, for the betterment of the society, right? And the integrated marketing. That's actually the basic task of the marketer. So how they are promoting their brand, how they will advertise, which social media they will use, sales promotion, public relation, direct marketing. That's basically come over here, integrated marketing. So this concept basically termed as the holistic marketing. So this is the main key pillars of the holistic marketing: internal marketing, performance marketing, integrated marketing, and relationship marketing. Marketing mix, again, a very famous term in the marketing literature. What is marketing? Generally, the students say it's the 4 P's. Yes, right? It's 4 P's. But what is marketing mix? What's defined the marketing mix? So marketing mix is basically the set of controllable tactical tools the firm blend to produce the response, basically. So before the 4 P's, we must define what is marketing mix. It's basically the set of controllable tactical tools, basically. And that tactical and controllable tools are basically the 4 P's. Yes, Bilkul, right? Product, price, place, and promotion. The marketing mix, again, studied by many authors, and they have expanded the domain of the marketing mix. There are 5 P's. The 5th P is probing. So some authors say there is 5th P, that is probing. Generally, we said marketing is about the need development, need identification. So how you will identify? Definitely the probing. So 5th P, we might consider 5th P, that is probing. That's not established, but we might count them as the established P, probing, the 5th P. So for services, there are 3 additional P's: product, price, place, promotion. These 4 are the constant. And for services, there are 3 additional: the people, physical evidence, and processes. The people means who is providing the service, that will create the difference. The people, physical evidence, right? So from where you will get the service, so how it look like, that will create the difference. The impression, the physical evidence, the process, how you're getting the service, what is the process, that is the consumer friendly or painful, that will create the difference, right? So for the services, there are 7 P's, and for the products, there are 4 P's. Traditional view of marketing is make something and sell. Generally, the market is consist of people. People are different because they have different wants, they have different perceptions, they have different preferences, they have different buying criteria. the smart marketeers, what they do, so they segmentize. From the segmentation, so they get the well-defined targets, target markets, and for the target markets, so they create and deliver the offering. Now, this creation and this value creation and delivery process. Now, I'll talk about this value creation and value delivery again from the marketing definition perspective. So, marketing is a process of value creation and value delivery. So this value creation and value delivery has certain sequence, has certain steps. So the first step is assess the market opportunities and customer value. So from where the marketers start, from assessing the market, assessing the marketing opportunities, what opportunities are there in the market, and what customer value we can provide to them, right? So it involves the market scanning and developing the insight about the customer needs, wants, and motivating. So motives, what customer really need. Choosing the value, it includes critical decisions, for example, segmentation, targeting, positioning, branding. Then the designing value, it relates to decision, product strategy, offering, pricing. Delivering value, it about the distribution and access issues. Communicating value, it's integrated marketing communication. It might be involved mass media, it might be involved the personalized media. And last, about the value growth and sustainability, that how you will sustain and how you will grow. So this is the overall value creation and value delivery process. Start with the market scanning, and then you choose the value, you organize yourself, you segmentize the market, and then you design, then you deliver, then communicate, and then you think about the growth and sustainability. Now, after defining the marketing and the concepts related to marketing, then I'll little bit discuss about the strategy and marketing strategy. So first of all, let me explain what is strategy. Company can outperform the rival in two ways. Number one, delivering greater value, means better than the rival, or creating comparable value at a lower price. So by delivering the greater value, company can charge higher price. For example, Samsung do, Apple, iPhone do, and creating comparable value at lower price. If company cannot provide the superior value, then they provide the comparable value and they charge some lesser price. But in order to get the lesser price, the organization have to be efficient, means they have to reduce the cost in different activities. So their cost will lower down, and then they will transfer that cost advantage to the consumer. Means the difference between cost and price derived from different activities, means creation, production, selling, delivering. Means each activity is basically a cost. The cost is generating by performing different activities. Once you will perform any activity, the cost will generate. So cost advantages arise when activities perform more effectively than competitors. So differentiation based on choice of activities and how they perform. So how the organizations are different, or why the organizations are different? Because of the choice of activities and how they are performing. So every organization is performing the activities. So organization, according to Michael Porter, organization is basically the synthesis of activities. Every organization is a synthesis of activities. But why one organization is different from the other? Because the choice of activities and how they are performing that activities. So Emirates, you can compare the Emirates with maybe your Indonesian airlines. So both are the airlines. Both are performing the same activities. But Emirates is better than maybe the Indonesian airlines. So why? Because the choice of activities and how they are performing the activities. So we can say that activities are the basic unit of competitive advantage. So the operational activity, so there are two basic terms: operational excellence, performing activities better than rivals. If you are performing the same activity but better than rivals, that is called operational excellence. But if you are performing the different activities from the rivals, or the similar activities different than rivals. That is called as the strategic position. What is strategy? The strategy is basically is the positioning, is your unique position involving different set of activities. So by performing different set of activities, so what position you will create, that will become your strategy. So strategy is basically the activity, the selection of activities, how you are executing that strategy and what position you are creating, that basically is the strategy. Value chain and value delivery network. Value chain is basically the activity system of the organization, and value delivery network is basically the overall the system, the organization, distribution, supplier, consumer, how they are interacting in the overall value delivery system. Okay, move forward. Every firm, I've told you, every firm is a synthesis of activities, design, produce. So according to Michael Porter, each firm has 9 strategically relevant activities. 5 primary means its core importance. Number 1, inbound logistics, operations, production, outbound logistics, marketing, including sales and service. Service may be after the service. So this is very important department. Generally, organization in Pakistan, they outsource and they get the pathetic response, and the service and the consumer get dissatisfied. But it's very core primary function. And the support activities are procurement, technology development, human resource. It can be outsourced, firm infrastructure. The factory can be get on rent, and they can get the production, right? I'll skip. Novita, how much time left for me?
How much speak again? Actually, it's 2 minutes again. Maybe if or we can extend in 15 minutes again.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, right. When the organization plan at the strategic level, so they basically plan on these 4 aspects. Number 1, okay, so I believe I've skipped some of the slides. Okay, okay. I think some of the slides are missing. So the point 2, 3, but I'll explain. So the strategic planning division basically involves 3 steps. Number 1, the mission statement. So they start with the mission statement. The strategic planning implementation. Number 1 is a mission statement. So every organization has its mission and vision. The strategic planning start always with the mission and vision. Number 2, so they develop their SBUs, strategic business units. So after deciding about the mission and vision, then they structure itself, the organization structure itself. And then on the 3rd level, they give the resources to the different SBUs, because the different SBUs have the different strategic positions. Some SBUs are weak, some SBUs are strong in the market. So they give the maximum resources to the strong SBUs and some lesser resources to the weak SBUs, right? And the 4th point is basically the growth opportunities, that how the organization can grow basically. So these are basically the 3 points by which the firm can get the growth opportunity. The first is the intensive growth opportunities. Intensive growth opportunities are available with the perspective of market penetration. The firm can penetrate more in the market. The firm can increase the market force, increase your voice, increase the market force, increase the number of outlets, increase the number of channels for the communication, means increase the penetration. So that's how the company can get the growth. Market development, so develop the market, the untapped geographical areas, go into the untapped geographical areas, go for the new geographical areas. Market development strategy. Product development strategy, develop the product, come up with the new product for the same market. That's the product development strategy. Second is the integrative growth strategies. The firm can integrate with the other firms. So this integration can be backward integration. The producer can integrate with the supplier or acquire the supplier. That's a backward integration. Forward integration means the producer can acquire or integrate with the distributor. That's a forward integration. Vertical integration. Vertical integration, the backward and forward are actually the vertical integration. Means the firm either acquire the distributor or either acquire the supplier. This is basically termed as the vertical integration. Horizontal integration means the same level integration. The distributor will acquire another distributor. Producer will acquire or integrate with another distributor. Same level integration is basically the horizontal integration. That's how the firm will grow, the double in size. And third is the diversification. The firm will go into the different business to get the growth, get the sustainability. For example, Walt Disney. So they actually the animated film producer, but they move into the licensed character for merchandising goods. The publishing journal interest fiction books. Entering into the broadcast industry, they develop the channels, ABC and ESPN. They develop the theme park, and there are certain other examples, right? Now, the marketing strategy. Now we have understand the strategy. Strategy is basically the activity system of an organization, right? Now, what is strategy? Marketing strategy. The marketing strategy basically it has 4 key pillars. Number 1, definition of the market. Number 2, segmentation. Number 3, targeting. Number 4, positioning. These are the 4 key pillars of marketing strategy. Number 1, consumer, definition of the consumer. Who are your consumer? Number 2, segment them. Number 3, target them. And number 4, position your brand in the mind of that consumer. So that will become collectively, it is called as the marketing strategy. The 4 key players: consumer definition, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. And you see from where the marketing strategy is derived from the goals and objectives. From where the goals and objectives will be derived from the mission and vision statement. Define the market. I have told you, segment the market, choose the market, and positioning. So let's see, define the market. Define the market means who will be your consumer. It can be seen with the narrow perspective. It can be seen with the broader perspective. Broader perspective means from the need-based perspective. For example, if you are looking at the transportation perspective, so transportation is a need. Then you are looking your consumer from a broader perspective. But if you are looking from the perspective from already served perspective, means you are looking from your consumer from a narrow perspective. Already served market, for example, airline passengers, airline perspective, means you are looking at consumer from a narrow perspective. That's the first part, defining the market. Then you will segmentize the market. So once you have decided that who is your consumer base, who is your consumer of interest, then you will segmentize them. On what basis you can segmentize? So segmentation is a process to make different segments, right? So segmenting a market into smaller segments enable our markets. What are the benefits? To understand the characteristics that differentiate consumers, to identify potential segments that may be good for company. What are the bases? Not everyone purchases the particular product. Not everyone responds to marketing activities in exactly the same way. Not everyone wants to pay the same price. These are some realities. That's why we segmentize the market. Segmentation can be done on the geographical basis, means nations, rural versus urban regions, southern region, northern regions. So you are Indonesians, we are Pakistanis, so we are different segments. Demographics, age-wise, teenagers, youth, senior citizens, income, middle class, lower class, upper class, life cycle stage, married, non-married, married with without kids, married with kids, married with younger kids, married with smaller kids, junior kids, married with 6 kids, married with 1 kid, right? So these are some, and gender, male, female, these are the demographic segmentation examples. Psychographic lifestyle, whether you are personality, whether you are introvert, extrovert, your attitude, your values. Similarly, what is your usage pattern? You are heavy user, light user, non-user, loyalty status, you're loyal, you're passive loyal, active loyal. Similarly, what sort of benefit you are looking from the product, right? So, even we look for the different benefit from the different products. So this segmentation scheme, that is geography, demographic, and psychographic, can further be classified into 2 types. Means one classification scheme show a relationship with the product, independent. For example, gender, demography, geography, psychography. It does not have any kind of relationship with the product. For example, gender. So does the gender have giving any sort of information with the product utility? No. In gender, then what is the link of the gender with the product usage? No, it does not give any sort of information. But the other characteristic, for example, your usage pattern, yes. You are heavy user, yes. It is giving some sort of information related to product, that you are heavy user, yes. So it is defining your relationship with the product. You are heavy user, loyalty, yes. So this segment is giving you another information, that you are loyal, active loyal, you are passive loyal, you are strongly attached to the brand, you are weakly attached to the brand. So this classification scheme, so this segmentation scheme further classify into 2 types: the in relation to the product and not in relation to the product. Now the targeting. So once you have segmentized the market, then you will select the target. So targeting can be done on basically there are 3 approaches. The mass marketing, so means you will consider whole the market as a single segment, and you will offer the product to the entire market. That's called the mass marketing. In today's market, it's difficult to find the true mass market. It's very rare, it's very difficult to find the true mass market. We cannot, initially we had like Ford Motors, so they made just 1 car for the entire market. That was one classical example of the mass market. But now currently we don't have any example, the classical example of the mass market. However, second example of the multi-target marketing means multiple segments, and we will offer the different products to the different segments. Like for example, car manufacturers, Suzuki make the different cars for the different segments. For the Toyota make the cars for the different segments. For the small cars, for the economic customers, for the luxury cars, for the image seeker customers, right? And the niche marketing target a small share of large market, generally the BMW. So they ignore the masses. They only target the 5% of the customer. The 5% who include the 5% that they are seeking for luxury, right? So that's the niche market, the small segment. They ignore the large part of the market, and they just enter into the smaller market. So this is the first. The first is the mass undifferentiated Walmart. So Walmart, you might consider that. So they offer just one positioning, that low price. That's the sorry, mass market. Second is the different segments, and you will offer the different product for the different market. And the third pie, so you will ignore the other segments and you just enter into a just the smaller segment. This is one segment. The last is the positioning. The last component of your marketing strategy is positioning. Positioning is basically the purpose of buying. So why the consumer will buy your product is the image of your product, that you will drill in the mind of the consumer. Why consumer, or what the consumer will think about your brand, right? So Suzuki has the Alto in Pakistan, so Suzuki Alto, the economy. So what comes in the minds of the consumer when the consumer think about the Alto economy? What comes in the consumer mind when they think about the BMW luxury? The purpose of buying. So positioning is basically the purpose of buying. Who established the purpose of buying in the consumer mind? The market here, right? That is straight. So that's the last part of the marketing strategy. Positioning. Positioning is the act of designing companies offering an image and occupy a distinct place in the target market, right? So the result of positioning is the successful creation and a customer-focused value proposition, a cogent reason that why the customer will buy your brand. That's the position. That's a positioning, basically. Okay, I think that was the last slide of my presentation. Yes, Novita, over to you.
Yes, sure. What happened? Hello, sir. How may I assist you? Oh, is it enough?
Gigi, yes, Novita, I'm over, so
Okay, I will go to the next session. Time for question and answer session, sir. Okay. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. For all audience, if you wanna ask question, you can raise your hand or you can write in the room chat. Okay, for the first question, this is from audience in the YouTube from Dia Rahmi. Yeah, may I ask the question for the speaker here about the introduction of the marketing program into the target of marketing strategy on the marketplace or market share on share products? Thank you.
sorry, Novita, please can you explain the question again, or you can type? I think I'll appreciate if you type.
I'm
Because-
typed in the room chat, sure.
Yes, please. I think your accent is difficult to understand.
Yeah. Are you see our
Yes, yes. So I can see the language of question is not very clear to me, but I think so. If she's asking about the market shares,
yes, yes.
means what's market share?
I'm not sure about that. Or may I continue to the next question, sir?
Okay, let me answer to the market share. You
Yeah.
see, when you offer your product in a particular market, so you are not alone. So there are certain other players, right? So then definitely it's the total sales. For example, there are 10 players in the market and they are producing 1 billion rupees or Malaysian currency sales or dollars of sales. Then what is your contribution in that particular sales? That will be your market share, right? So that's the old trend, right? But now the organizations are more focusing not on the product market share. They are more focusing on the customer equity share. That out of total customer base, how much customers are there who are using your product. That is more important to them rather than the monetary value share.
Okay, thank you for answering. And then the second question, this is from the Ahrami also. Yeah, I'm ready read in the room chat, sure. About how to deliver the police.
So this question is more related to policy rather than the marketing. So yes, definitely there might be certain institutions that I think organizations have to get the approval. For example, we have a drug regulatory authority of Pakistan that give the certain approvals regarding the pricing of the pharmaceutical products in Pakistan. And there are certain other organizations that work on the same settings. That might be the possible answer of your question. But exact answer, your question, I think it might be difficult for me to answer. Sorry.
Okay, thank you for answering. And then we have two questions again from audience. Yeah, I will read in the room chat. This is question from Mr. Nugroho. Thank you.
Nugroho, very interesting question. So first you need to understand the strategies. So what is the strategies? Basically, is the from the activity point of view, right? You see, what could be the you see when the company introduced the new product, so majority of the new product, even these for the successful organization, for example, Unilever, Nestle, Procter and Gamble, their majority of the product they get failed. So it's a normal phenomenon. Right? It's not something that you will offer the product and it will not fail. So according to an estimate that 67% of the new products offered they get failed, right? So if you are offering the product based on the need of the consumer and you have the proper consumer research based data, there might be chance that it will not get failed. And similarly, you are saying that as the market itself is dynamic, so you need to understand the dynamics of the marketing, and you need to bring the change as per the dynamics of the market. Then definitely it would not fail. And it's difficult to work in the dynamic market because the word dynamic itself is very dynamic. Means it's changing very fast. And you need to bring the change as per the change. If you will not change the product before the competitors, right? So you see, Gillette is one of the examples. So no one had changed the Gillette yet in its true form. So what the Gillette do? So Gillette change itself. So they make the change in itself and they make it innovative after some time. Right? So they become the continuous innovation. So continuous innovation is basically the key to success.
Okay, thank you. And the last question, sure, from Mr. Faiz.
Faiz, again, good question. So your question lies the answer basically. So you're saying, what's the marketing strategy for micro small business. So the use of technology, again the data has given the freedom to get or to design the accurate and targeted message to the targeted consumer. So don't go for the mass media. So see, if your consumer is available on LinkedIn, then reach them on LinkedIn. If your consumer is not available on online, then don't go for online. So why? What's the point to go out for online? So meet them personally. So if they prefer to meet online, if they prefer to meet physical, then meet them physically, right? So it's very important to see and observe your consumer in the real terms. What type of media they use, at what time they use, right? So you need to study the consumer in a detailed manner. So you are always this micro and small business. So I don't think so that you have the very large consumer base. It won't be very difficult for you to study your consumer. So by deeply observing your study, so you can and their media selection, their media consumption, you can, I think, craft the relevant media message.
Okay, thank you for answering. I think it's very clearly from Professora. I think we don't have no more question again. May I continue to the next question for them take a photo together? Okay. Before we closing this session, let us take a photo together. So everyone, please open your camera. Okay. Let's take a picture. I will take a picture in count of 3. One, 2, and 3. Another one. 1, 2, and 3. Smile. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your keen cooperation. Finally, we come to the end of visiting lecture today. We would like to say thanks again for Dr. Adnan Bashir for their wonderful information. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for our audience. And I hope we can meet again in other event in the future. Also, I would like to thanks for all participants for attending this class today and making this class more interesting. At least we hope to have more collaboration in the future. The visiting lecture for today and here. We hope to see you soon. Thank you and see you.
मेरी क्लास उसके और मैंने कहा शायद आपका मैं देखते रहूँ चलिए बहुत शुक्रिया थैंक यू
Wes, aku. Ada aku. Ada. Yes, terima kasih semua. Selamat siang.
Absen, Mbak.
Hah?
Kapan absen?
Yang Pak Is pengen ngomong Is cari. Ya, terima kasih bagi para peserta yang telah hadir untuk link absensi setelah di-share. Bagi yang belum absen bisa mengisi terlebih dahulu sebelum acara ditutup. Terima kasih. Suara mulu Kano.
Oh, di sini di atas. Ya, bagi peserta yang belum absen, bisa absen terlebih dahulu. Absen sudah tertera di kolom chat. Ya, saya kira cukup. I think that enough. I think that's enough for today's event. Thank you. Good afternoon. Have a good rest. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Dadah. Yeay. Dadah. Ada orang.